Good evening, everybody. My name is Bart Taylor, and I am a teacher at A&M Consolidated High School here in College Station, Texas. I've been teaching for 15 years, and I've been teaching information technology, which is pretty much anything to do with technology. So I teach the kids to keep your internet live. And so when I think about technology and what I do, it's an amazing thing. And when I think about generating STEAM in my kids, I wonder, why do I do so much when I just teach IT? I've worn many hats as a teacher. I did instructional coach. I'm a sponsor of the Gay Straight Alliance. I do a Skills USA club. But one of my biggest passions is I do a club called Tiger Robotics. And it's kids that come in after school to come in to learn about engineering and build robots. And so it's why I generate STEAM. And why I call it STEAM is because, you know, it's a little selfish thing too, because STEM is the big term in high schools: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But, you know, I embrace everything, and I embrace science, technology, engineering, art, and marketing. Math comes there, and they get it there, but I embrace the marketing side of it. And so when I think about generating STEAM, and I think about sciences as an IT teacher, I tell the stories because as teachers, we are storytellers too. And I used to work in a sand mining operation when I was in high school. And I tell the kids how I used to mine sand like they walk on at the beach. And we would transform that sand into the circuit boards that create the technology of today. You know, it builds that relationship and that connectivity of science to what we're doing. But then I tell them, we're in a technology revolution. Everything they do is technology. And so what do I have to do as a teacher to motivate them to do more in technology than they normally do today? And so we take crazy computer parts and put them in things like Mustang wheels and toasters to just challenge them and challenge all different sides of their brains. But then the engineering side comes around, and I go back to my roots of Tiger Robotics. Our slogan is engineering the future, and since I've been doing this for 15 years, I've engineered the future. I have current engineers, and I have the future engineers, and it's an exciting time because to promote engineering in this community and have kids become engineers, it's why I teach, and it's what I do. And so this year, these kids, they're a phenomenal group. I give them the basic principles of engineering design, and then I tell them things like, you know, build on the ideas of others, encourage wild ideas. And I tell them it's about the team. It's about enlightened trial and error of their team versus the planning over the lone genius. And what they did this year was phenomenal. They designed a robot, and the robot did exactly what they designed it to do. And so no matter if they won or lost, that is true success in engineering right there. They're also pretty crazy, as you can see. I mean, they're passionate about what they do. I got boys in cheerleading outfits that come and cheer, and they cheer for the robot. They cheer for their design. They cheer for engineering, and it's the greatest thing in the world. When I think about art, I think about how can I challenge kids in art and in technology. And so 3D printers are the biggest rage. And I tried for a while to get a 3D printer in my classroom, but we had to go and raise money. But the coolest thing about it is the biggest quote of the year was Mr. Taylor said the 3D printer's broke again. And so that became the art of troubleshooting because we had to learn a lot about 3D printing as we went through. But there's something about just taking the brush to the board, the brush to the paper, that's almost primal and a great connection for these kids. I like to challenge all the directions of their brains, not just this mathematics side, not just the engineering side, but the artistic side too. Because that ties right into why I talk about marketing and not math. It's because I tell the kids you have to sell your ideas. You got to be able to sell what you want to do. We had this crazy idea of No Shave November and how to make it into a fundraiser. And so last year we said, let's have the noble men of No Shave November, and let's raise some money for a good cause. And so we raise money for prostate cancer by growing beards as a school, boys and girls. And it's all because of how we marketed it. That's another Pecha Kucha there. But marketing, I mean, look at my kids. They're amazing. They know how to sell themselves. They know how to sell who they are because we talk about marketing and the importance of knowing what you do and who you are, because it's a phenomenal thing to generate STEAM in our kids. And it's just something that I'm ridiculously passionate about. And it's because of these kids right here. I look at them and I see the product of generating STEAM. And that's it. I mean, these kids are phenomenal. They're amazing. They're the leaders of the future. They're the leaders of today. And they do everything that I ask them to do. They go through these programs, and it's just awesome to see these introverted, you know, scientific kids grow and go through my program and just become awesome. You know, these kids right here are in a technology program, and they represent the top 10% of the kids and the bottom 10% of the kids. And I tell you what, through generating STEAM, they are all successful and they all perform at the same level. Because it doesn't matter who's turning in their homework and who has a higher GPA. They're performing because they love what they do, because they're motivated to do what they do. And it's amazing. I tell the kids, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. And these kids are the product of that. Absolutely. I mean, they also take me to places like this, Washington, D.C. every year. And so I get a little kickback too, because it's a fun time. But the kids are awesome. And so I got to think, I put in a lot of time to do this. And so why do I do this for all these kids? The robotics club is every day after school and then on weekends. And so I think to myself, what generates my STEAM? Why do I do this for the kids? And you know what it just comes back down to? Seeing these kids. You wouldn't believe the level of dedication that these kids produce at the high schools nowadays. They do come in every day after school, put in hours of time. They listen to everything I say. And to see their dedication to themselves, to their learning, and the passion for what they do, it brings me to my knees. It's why I teach. It's why I love this craft. They have passion for everything they try. And again, these kids, when we push them to do the things they do, and when they embrace it, when they have the passion to do it, it's going to be an unstoppable world and an unstoppable community. These kids are amazing. I'm tasked with educating the hearts and minds of students for life, and that's a hard, tangible thing to measure. So how do I teach the heart? Well, every year, our senior kids, they choose some teachers to write senior letters to, and they say, thanks for teaching me, thanks for inspiring me. And so it's my secret thing, and I can pull these letters out and read them and remind myself why I do what I do. And one year, a kid wrote, Mr. Taylor, you teach us the weirdest things, but you taught me to face life with a smile, because no matter what, life is going to smile back at you. Thank you very much.